Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I am solely talking about pet blogging for love and money with Carol Bryant, so stay right there.
Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We are a show all about pets, people, and pop culture. In studio with me today, I have the gorgeous and very pretty Miss Thornton, and we have the rebel Mr. Twix is in studio, and Jim is here as well.
Hello.
Is that it?
Yeah, who gave you that title? I forgot.
It was our friend Barbara.
That's right.
Remember, years and years, well, I'm going to say about 15 years ago, it's got to be about 15, where she used to call both of us the king and queen of rock and roll dogs. And that's how it stuck.
But I'm American, so I'm not into titles.
If I bought you land in England that came with the title, you'd be all over that title. That's such a lie.
I don't know.
Because I think deep down you want to be an English gentleman. You want to wear tweed. You want to go to the pub with your dog.
I want to go shooting. That's
You
all.
want to pretend smoke a pipe because you would never smoke a pipe, but you look good holding it.
We go out to the range and go shooting and then go to the pub.
And when
Right.
he says shooting, he doesn't mean shooting animals.
Right.
But
Clay.
you'd be all over that. The gentlemanly life, which...
Well, provide that for me, and I will do it.
So yeah, that's how I got the title. I didn't give it to myself. Friends did it for us, and that was many, many years ago. Well, welcome to the show, everybody, by the way. We're going to do a little, you know how we normally do our little update, and then we're going to bring our fabulous guest on, Carol Bryant. And if you are interested in getting into the pet space, if you are already in the pet space and you feel like, I really need some education, I need to do better, then this is the show for you. But let's do a little bit of updating. Well, first of all, actually, you can find the show on our website, vegasrockdogradio.com. That's the hub of the show, and we'll pop up on Periscope, literally. Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. And our blog is therockandrolldog.com. If you miss the live show, if you miss the live show and all the flubs that I do and all the hybrid words that I create and all the medical terms I have a hard time pronouncing, then you can always catch up on the show on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spoke by SiriusXM, Spotify, Google Play, any other podcast app you may have on your phone. You'll find us. Just search Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Super easy. Right, Jim, let's do our quick update. You've had a good week, actually, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've had a good week as well.
I was a little bit busy this week,
yeah,
for sure.
So Jim and I plan to do some work this week together, and then it kind of had to go out of the window because you got a call to play with who?
The Righteous Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I subbed for a friend of mine. That was well, you know, it's funny. Bucky Hurd, who replaced Bobby Hatfield, I've played with him over the last couple of years, basically on some of my shows, my Monday's Dark Charity, and a few things. So he and I know each other, and I know all the horn players.
Do they
They're all
live
friends
here?
of mine. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been and I've met a few times Bill Medley, but that was actually the first time I've played his real show, the Righteous Brothers show. So it was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, you fancy?
Yeah, pretty much.
So are you on the sub list?
Yes.
You're on the list.
Yeah, I'm on the list now.
Fantastic. So that was part of Jim's week. He also plays with what's the name of the band?
Gray Street.
Gray Street. A Dave Matthews band. It's not a tribute. It's not a tribute. It's not an impersonation. It's a band that plays
all of his music.
All of Dave Matthews. Yeah. They don't pretend to be Dave Matthews band, but it's a great band, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, we just got renewed going into the 10th year with that. And
amazing.
Then my steady regular with Frankie Marino is we're on a bit of a hiatus because he's in Indianapolis right now with the Indianapolis Symphony for their Christmas holiday show. He's actually the host of their holiday extravaganza.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he's out there for about 3.5 weeks. So we're off until the end of December with that. But yeah, that's
okay. It's Christmas time. It's nice to relax a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
My highlight of the week was I got to interview Piff the Magic Dragon. You will know that name from America's Got Talent, and possibly from, if you're into magic and stuff, possibly from Fool Me, Penn and Teller's show, Fool Me. And I've met Piff before. He lives here in Vegas. He's a Brit like me. And I interviewed him on my other show, Spill the Tea Live, which is our show for British expats and Anglophiles. And it was supposed to be, kind of an average length interview turned into an hour and a half. We do sit round a big table, which, strangely enough, was given to us, and the big red sparkly booth was given to us by Penn Jillette when he imploded. What did he call that? His house, the Slammer? His big crazy custom house called the Slammer, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
And he gave us that booth. So if you see that booth on Spill the Tea Live, that is magical. Anyway, we have this vibe where it's like being at home. Let's have a cup of tea and have a little chit chat and as we say natter. Some parts of the country in England, in the United Kingdom, will say chinwag. And that's kind of the premise of the show. Anyway, an hour and a half later, we're still with us, drinking tea, eating Walker's crisps, making us laugh. And I got to hold Mr. Piffles for the entire time. And he's a rescue dog. Great guy, really interesting, extremely dry and extremely funny, which is my kind of humor. And he goes there. And I really like that. I find it quite refreshing on this side of the pond to enjoy that kind of humor. His show is amazing, by the way. If you do get a chance and you're in Vegas, you're not sure where you want to go, and particularly if you've got the family with you, take the whole family. He is so quick-witted. He talks a lot with the audience, so he's picking up on names and the conversations that he has, and then halfway through the show, he'll tie in a joke to someone he spoke to at the beginning of the show. It is brilliant, and
he must have photographic memory.
He's just mad skills basically. But he also comes from a theatre background, which a lot of people don't know. That comes from a theatre background. He was creative director of his own company many years ago. But great guy, totally loved him. And yes, he was in the dragon outfit. And you need to know this: he's actually a dragon. But Mr. Piffles is not a dragon. He's just a dog in a dragon suit. So we have to make that clarification. He likes to make that very clear.
Mr. Piffles doesn't really work too hard in the show.
No, and here's the thing. And you've heard me say this before. I don't like animals in entertainment. You've heard me say this before. Mr. Piffles actually doesn't do anything. He has, the harness that you can have when you have your dog in the front of you? That's pretty much what he does all the way through the show. He just carries him around the whole show. And he just looks cute. So I'm okay with that. But I do know how much Piff not only loves that dog, but respects that dog and looks after him. And he just had a birthday, 12 years old. What a life. What a life, from a rescue to life on the Las Vegas Strip. Can't beat it, can you? Well, I think we should. Now we've done our little update. Let's move on to our big only topic of the show. And let's open it this way. There is, without a doubt, one common theme on all social media platforms, and that is that people on the internet love pets, love animals, more than people. It's not unusual to see your friends, creating blogs and social media accounts for their pets. In fact, I'd say it's quite the norm these days. I mean, I've got friends whose pets have got 40, 50, 60, 100,000 followers. I mean, there are some celebrity pets or celebrity dogs or celebrity cats who have over 1 million followers. And as a result of that, pet brands, it piqued their interest and they're paying attention and they're looking to partner with these pet influencers. And, because they want them to share their products, their services, and their experiences with their audience, because these kind of accounts, whether it's a blog or whether it's a social media account, is a gateway to a niche market. And so a lot of these brands want to work with these pet influencers because, they can influence their audience and, they have to pay for the privilege to do that. So as a result, as I say, they're paying attention. And lots of people hearing this right now are going to say, oh, I like the sound of that. I love my pet. I love animals. Gosh, if I can do that, if I can build an audience through a blog, I can work with brands, I can actually make some income, and it will be my dream come true. Ah, we need some sound effects, Jim. And then they think, well, how the heck do I get started? How the heck do I start a blog around my pet or just my passion for animals? Now, you can certainly read stuff online. It's here and there, but it's definitely fragmented and it's not always current information. And it has been very difficult to find an authority on this topic. And the topic is pet blogging, very different from other types of blogging. So, I say it's been hard to find someone who's an authority on this topic where someone can take you from what we call soup to nuts. Do you say that here, Jim? Soup to nuts?
We do not say that.
Okay. I think
that
it's
is nothing that means anything to me.
I think it's a reference to weddings. But basically, you go from the beginning of the dinner to all the way to the very, very, very end. It covers everything. I think that's where it comes from, if I'm not wrong. But, you're looking for this, where can I get the soup to nuts on all things pet blogging? Well, that was the case until now. Carol Bryant and Maggie Marton co-authored and published the book Pet Blogging for Love and Money. And it's full of actionable tips. It doesn't require a tech background or a crazy expensive marketing degree because longtime industry pros, Carol Bryant and Maggie Marton, take their decade of building pet brands and successful blogs and distill this information into very easy to understand steps that you can turn your passion for pets into something more. For love and for money, or just for love, or for money, and both. And so for anyone who loves their pets, wants to, go into the pet space, put them online, this book provides the know-how and guidance to make it happen. But just don't take it from me. Let's actually talk to Carol Bryant herself, who is with us today to tell us about her and Maggie's book, Pet Blogging for Love and Money. Good morning, Carol.
Sam!
Oh, I so love to hear your voice.
Oh, my God, my friend. We go way back. We go like super way back.
We do. We're retro. We are retro in our friendship.
Someone called me OG, and I'm like, oh, wow, is that good?
Oh,
or am I some like old timer that
no
needs to be scraped off the sidewalk? I don't know.
You know what? Better OG than boomer, because you keep hearing that as a slur. Have you heard that recently?
Oh, dear word.
Oh,
no.
So rude. And it's mainly millennials that are doing it. They go, oh, shut up, boomer, as in baby boomer. So rude.
Oh, my. All right, I'll do OG then.
So the OG,
I don't know.
the OG is the way to go. Well, I tell you what,
right.
Let's start off with probably the most important question of all. How is my boy Dexter?
Dexter is bloody good. He is just from soup to nuts. He's good.
From soup to his nuts. He's good.
From soup to where his nuts were once located. He is really good.
I'm so happy to hear that. We're ridiculous. We were saying the other day, Jim, if we lived together, God, if we lived together, it would be a nightmare because it would just be like...
He would be arrested. I think it would take like 48 hours and we'd be calling Piff and Jim and Darlene and like bailing us out.
We would.
Yeah.
We totally would have said if we lived in Vegas, Oh,
Oh
we
my
would
God.
get up to no good. That's for sure.
I'm
Oh my.
telling you.
Well, I'm so glad that Dexter's well. He's such a great boy, and he is the face of your blog, Fidose of Reality, your big inspiration. Not
He is.
not your only inspiration because you've had lots of dogs. And I think
Yeah,
keep bringing a little piece of them with us, don't we, in everything that we do, whether they're here or
exactly.
not. They're still a massive part of our lives, but I'm so happy to hear he's doing well. So let's start off
Thank you.
with, who is your book written for? Oh, by the way, everyone, just want to tell you that Maggie's not with us today because Maggie, being the most amazing human being that we know, has just brought a new baby into her home. She's adopted another baby. And, you know, we always call our dogs babies and stuff. This is a real baby.
I know.
So
Right.
that's why she's not with us today. Carol's representing both of them, and it's just wonderful news for Maggie and the family. So exciting! But you co-wrote this book, and who did you write this book for?
Back in the day, oh gee, like 10, 12 years ago when I got started, there was nothing out there to help me. I was like, I love my dog. I love dogs in general, and I want to write about them. And people were talking about blogs, and now people talk about TikTok and Instagram and
Yeah.
Pinterest and LinkedIn, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And so this is for anybody who has a pet or loves pets or is in rescue or has a pet business
Yeah.
and wants to either start a blog and a social media presence or has one and is like, well, I've gone as far as I could on my own. Now what?
Yeah.
And honestly, you go online and everyone and their brother has a course available. And you don't
They
know. I
do.
can't tell you how many courses I've purchased that are sitting there collecting cyber
Yeah.
dust because I don't finish them.
Yeah.
Right? Or like you start and you're like, oh my God, it's all about you and you're not. So this is for anyone who wants to loves pets, has a pet, wants to take it seriously, or you just want to get your cat, your ferret, your snake, your pet spider, your
Yes.
bunny, whatever on the internet. And
Yeah.
you want to do something with it other than just have your mom, your grandma, and your neighbors like your stuff.
That's right. I mean, and like you say, also for people that they've currently got a blog and they've hit a wall, and
Yes.
they got, God, how do we grow further? We don't know what the next step is, or they could just be operating on really old information, which
Yes.
I think you see that a lot. Some of the blogs you can look at and you can tell it's a really old blog. Go, oh
Yes.
wow, look at this thing. It's got, you know, things that swirl around and weird things and
I know.
text that goes round in circles. And what is going on? But that's what it was in the beginning, wasn't it? We thought that was like new fandangled stuff. It was amazing, you
Oh
know.
my God. We thought the more crap we added to our front page, the better.
The better.
Let's just fill it up.
Yeah, so
Fill it up.
you couldn't find a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just
Mm-hmm.
a prime example how things have changed. And there's
Yep.
constant, research and stuff like that going on. And I think you have to have your finger on the pulse. But what makes you and Maggie the experts? Because I know people are going to ask this. They're going to go, well, what makes them, the authority on all of this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we came up with this like we were blogging before blogging was cool. That's pretty much
Uh-huh.
how it started. And we've been doing this for ourselves, for others, and in all seriousness, for what was in its heyday, the biggest pet influencer network on the planet until it was sold to corporate.
Mm-hmm.
We helped accounts and we helped brands and we helped bloggers and
Yes.
people came to me and I mean I've worked in the PR space forever and a day, and so everybody from Benji the dog, if any of your listeners remember Benji the
Yes.
dog, I helped do PR for Benji. I mean I was going along one day and I decided I wonder if I could get myself on Oprah radio. And I thought there's no way. And I sent a letter. I felt like a little kid. I sent a letter to Gail King.
Oh.
And I said, you've got a radio show on Oprah, and I know your dog recently died. I'm so sorry,
Oh.
but you're saying you'll never get a dog again. I want to convince you otherwise. They called me and they're like, yeah, and we'd like you to bring your dog and come to New York City and meet Gail and be on the show.
How incredible is that?
Right? And so my big thing is like, who cares if they say no or
Right.
put you in the slush pile? Ask.
Well,
And so, you got to put yourself out there. And that's kind of where my roots were, was just, I didn't have anybody to tell me, and neither did you. You
No.
blazed a trail.
Just
You just set your own trail, and
do
you're
your
like,
own.
hey,
Yes. And like you said, don't be fearful of it and think, oh my gosh, Oprah, Gail, oh my God, that's such a big, big thing. But think about how you did that. You said, I know you lost your dog recently, and you said you'll never get it, but let me convince you differently. And I think that is such a prime example of how we get people engaged and interested in what we're doing.
yes.
And I think that's a prime example. And just, like you say, if you get rejected, don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Yeah, you've got to have thick skin. That's the one thing I have learned is like, do not take it personally. Blogging is such a marathon. Social media is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And that's why a lot of people quit. So Maggie and I were like, well, what do we have to lose except 10 years of our lives? Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Well, I think what another thing I want to mention, because it's like I say, you come from the PR space, you've helped brands, you've done campaigns, so you know what brands want, you know what bloggers can do, you know how that marriage works. But you also are the president of the Dog Writers Association of America, and Maggie happens to be the vice president. So you are true writers.
Yes,
I think that's
writers first, writers at our core, and that, and not to derail us, but that's what Maggie took over in the book. Was she said, so many people don't know what they're writing out there. They need good grammar, they need context, and of course it's the internet, but I'm gone when I see 10, 15 spelling errors or like I'm out. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like get a dictionary or put your spell check on, because
it's a turn off. I'm the same. If someone sends me a link to a podcast and if I hear it's bad audio quality, I'm instantly turned off. And it is the number one reason why people don't listen to podcasts. It's the number one reason. And it's the same thing.
Is that right?
Yeah, I have that same vibe. I'm like, and I have such good expectations. I mean, even people who are really good at, their information's fantastic, but I'm like, I can't listen. Sounds like you're in a cave. You know what my marketing thing? You know what my marketing thing would be for that, Carol? If your audio sounds like a cave, tell people you're broadcasting from a cave, because then it would be
you're
cool.
You're a cave person. You're a cave. You live in a cave, and you club your meal for dinner, and
That to me, it would be cool then. It would
God, that's a good idea. Someone should be a cave podcaster.
It would be cool.
You could spelunk to them, and it would be so fun.
And
oh my God!
All we'd be wearing is just like a little loincloth. And
Sam, I'm putting that in version 2 of the book. Version 2.
I mean, if it really does sound like a cave, tell people you're in a cave, because then it's acceptable. If you're not in a cave, it's dreadful. But it is a turn off. Like you said, like grammar and spelling is a big fat turn off when it's not correct. I mean, there are some good tools out there, like Grammarly for one.
Yeah.
I mean, Grammarly's free. There is a paid version, but it's a free version and a bit of an education for people when they use it. They go, "Oh, really? I didn't know that I was doing that wrong." So
totally.
As a writer, it must make you crazy. It must make you crazy sometimes.
It does, and that's what she took a whole chapter on, and it's not brain surgery, but we do it in such a fun. She's taught this at college level, and so she brings all of her years of experience, and I've got my English degree, and blah 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 blah. So, your Grammarly, your spell checker is not going to pick up that you think, 1 + 1 is 2, TOO. It's just not going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And so things like that, it's pretty much a little bit of everything. So Maggie and I are OG, as someone called me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're OG, because now I know that's a good thing to call you.
Yeah, it is.
You've informed me. OG is good.
I have a question for you, Carol. This is the kind of stuff I think about. Like you, I'll see spelling mistakes, just on Facebook alone. There, you know how that goes. Now, if I'm looking at that and I go, oh, that's wrong, is the person who spelt it wrong looking at the correct way it's spelled on other people's posts and thinking they're wrong?
Oh my God.
Are they?
We need to go out for a glass of wine and talk about that.
That's the kind of stuff I think about. If I think yours is wrong, do you think mine is wrong? Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy. See why we wrote a book?
Exactly.
See why we wrote a book?
Exactly, to solve all these mysteries. So like you were saying, you started this blog before blogs were even blogs, and then this big explosion of social media. Do you feel like blogs dipped? Do you feel like blogs kept going? Do you feel like blogs dipped and came back? What do you think happened, during that time?
Yeah. Yeah, so much happened that when blogs became popular, I mean, that was all there was. And then came all this social media. Um, my big thing that I saw was a shift that blogs evolved. I saw blogs being able to do things like you do on the radio. And I saw podcasts as an extension of blogs and
Yeah.
vloggers, video bloggers, and
Yeah.
folks who are quote unquote influencers, some of them having no business to use that label, but that's another conversation.
It is.
You know, they start an Instagram and they have 80 million followers because they have a dog whose tongue hangs out.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But is it a true business model or hello, when things go away, MySpace, Vine, you're in trouble.
Yes.
You're in trouble.
Oh,
you own your blog. You
Yes.
own your blog. And you own that in your email list. That's what I always tell people. And do as much as you can on social media, but start abandoning your home base and don't cry when your home's suddenly missing. Don't be crying.
That is such good advice. I know so many people who are not building a list of emails.
Yeah.
How are you going to reach out to your people if you don't have that list? Like you say,
and you know what else, Sam? Like, people get banned from Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook.
Oh,
all the
yeah,
time.
they do.
They don't even know what happened. And like, bye your whole career.
Yes, gone. Exactly. I mean, just gone. And sometimes you say it's not for any reason. Sometimes it is for a reason, and then you can't get it back, and all of your work is gone. And I
Right.
think that should never be your business model, is to rely on social media, because you just don't own
Exactly.
it.
And that's why we went looking, like when Maggie and I, we post to each other that question, like, well, where is blogging going? You could put in Google, is blogging dead? And the people whose blogs are dead
We'll say
will
it's
tell
dead.
you yes. It's like, well, there's a really good observation. I say no. You've just got to roll with the changes. They've evolved. Blogging has definitely evolved.
It definitely has, and like you were saying, it's more of a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. You just have to be in for the long haul. You have to get into a groove, I think, with how you put your content out, when it goes out. You have to have a system in which you do this. Otherwise, like you say, you'll get frustrated, you'll give up, you have too much of an expectation too early on, without getting that groundwork in there. And I know people are asking, can you really make money with a pet blog? And is it, you're making money just through the blog, or are you going to have to use other streams of income, but with your blog being the kind of hub of everything?
And we have a massive list in the book of how to earn money pet blogging. And the thing of it is you've got to get established first.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like, generally speaking, most of us aren't overnight successes. It took us more than a week. And I say that because there are so many things you can do. Now, for those of you who are listening and have been in the space for a while, of course, ad networks and serving ads on your blog. So for newbies, you land on a blog and you see ads. That's a way to make money, but so are seminars and webinars and sponsored blog posts and podcast sponsorships. Personally, I've landed writing assignments because someone saw the writing quality on my blog. Or I'll give you a little side note too. The New York Times went looking they wanted to do a story on if dogs fall in love. So they typed in, a reporter, can dogs fall in love? And I was number one in Google for Can Dogs Fall in Love? So I landed a spot in the New York Times. Someone saw me there and offered me an assignment somewhere else. So it's this whole big, the pet industry is so big, but so small. It's like a mind-blown dynamic. So yeah, I mean, you could do everything from coaching to YouTubing to selling courses to selling ads. I know people that start their own Amazon shops, Samantha Ratcliffe.
Yes, I have mine. Yes.
With your wonderful journals. And I mean, they're so high quality, and all these things that are on your blog and extensions of your blog.
Yeah.
But it only starts because I had a business plan. Like, if I cannot even imagine where I'd be if when I started, and I don't mean some Harvard degree. I was like, it's 2 pages. Here's how I'm going to make money, and here's how I'm going to go about doing it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think you do. I think when you've got, like you say, you've got a bit of a path. It's much easier to stay on the path itself. You know what I do like about your blog, Carol, and lots of people don't write this way, is that you write in long form. It's so in depth. It's super educational. in some of them, particularly with the things that have happened with Dexter, medically. And I really love that because then you can go in and go, oh, wow, I got all the information and the resources. And this was her personal experience of what she went through. And I think that is a big help to people. It's also a big comfort to people who land on a blog for a dog that's had an ACL surgery or whatever. And they go,
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Totally. I was one of my biggest posts in the history of my blogging. My dog was, he had a tick, and the tick shut his immune system down, and he nearly died. Long story. But I have people who write me from all over the world, and they'll say, I'm sitting in the emergency room with my dog. I Googled immune-mediated thrombocytopenia, which was this big old disease that my dog, and I couldn't find anything, and yours was the first post that came up. I am showing this to my vet. I'm showing this to the emergency room doctor. And I have people that are like, thanks for saving my dog's life. We tried what your vet did. And it's not that I'm the expert, but as a blogger, as a social media person, as an influencer, you've got to know where to find the experts. So I took my story and infused it with the experts. And I'm over here just crying my eyes out at least once a week because I'm helping to save dogs' lives. Come on.
To me, I think that is another reason why we all keep going with the kind of work that we do for animals, because you do get this response that comes back. Sometimes it's very unexpected.
Oh my God. And same thing with you with the suffocation with the bags.
Oh my gosh!
That I share that so much. You have helped so many people and how to find lost dogs on so much that you do, Sam. For everybody listening, follow Sam. The girl knows what she's doing. The girl's got OG's got it going on.
But I think what we're talking about now is just these prime example of all these different ways that you can be in the pet space with your blog being the hub, and how it all grows from there. And I think that's, even though it's a niche now, years ago, and I've heard people say this to me too. They go, don't you need to be, on a store, online store of it? Don't you need to be selling everything to everybody? No, you've got to niche it down big time, because that's what you become the authority on, even if it's only your own personal experience. But you niche it down because there's an audience for every little thing. Like you say, sharing that, dogs can suffocate in snack bags, if you didn't know about that. And that's a big advocate thing, that you can get involved in. And you may have had that experience yourself, and you want to tell people, I don't want you to go down this path. And that's what happened with pet suffocation, prevent pet suffocation. There's so many amazing ways that from that blog that you can then grow that business, and then it can turn into income as well, not just impact on people's lives.
Totally. And you don't have to do it for money. For love, if your thing is just, I can't walk in a shelter because I get so sad looking at all the animals, but I want to help them. Okay, then write a blog. Don't plan to make money on it, but know how to formulate SEO, get a really good strategy around it. Pick a lane. Maybe your thing is how to save guinea pigs from getting caught in their wheel. I don't know.
Right.
And I don't even know where that came from. But
I'm going to look that up now.
How to get off the wheel of life. Wheel of life. And whatever your thing is, maybe you could help animals that way. I've coached pet rescues on why they need a blog. They're like, I don't have time. We're so busy. We're so busy.
Oh, Carol.
Oh my God.
You're preaching to the choir here. This is what I'm talking to these rescues about constantly. We don't have time, but you know what? If you make a tiny bit of time, you can open up a big audience there and grow and tell your stories.
Because Sam, not everybody wants to see these dogs that are on death row at 11 o'clock at night, and I get sad. I'm crying. I can't sleep. I'm having nightmares,
and we see a lot of it.
I know it's awful, right? But you can write about it, and you can do it in such a way that people are like some of these photographers that go to the shelters nowadays, and they foo-foo up the dog, and they have a cool background, and think out of the box.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because again, this goes to the old-fashioned way of doing things and the new way of doing things. There are a lot of pet conferences where they're saying, the sad story, the really overly graphic stuff doesn't work. It turns people off. You need to acknowledge what's happened. Absolutely.
Right.
This is what happened to this dog. Then move on real quick. dog's with us now. This is the plan for the dog. This dog's now got a future. And I'm still seeing these, I'm going to pull at your heartstrings. You know what? You don't have to go over the top with that stuff because we get it. You see it in the first place and you go, what happened to that poor dog? And then I find the most, oh my gosh, I don't know if you follow Gal Gusta Sol, our friend Tina over in Spain. She's a Brit who moved to Spain for a very quiet life, Carol, with her family. That didn't happen. She now has the biggest rescue facility that she built from the ground up. I want to say now in 4 years she did it. It's the most amazing facility, but I feel like her social media was on point. She could acknowledge and say, look what happened to this poor dog, but this is what this dog needs, and this is what we want from you right now. She did it in such an amazing way, in a funny way. The balance is brilliant. I've told many rescues, go over to Tina's page, see what she's doing and how she's doing it, and then you'll understand why she has the support that she's got. It's huge. And then she took that into raising money, and all very
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, all very targeted projects that she did. It was okay. We need a reception, because we're going to do a lot of educational stuff. And she did the funniest campaign for that. I mean, this is a girl who put on a clown wig, a clown nose, have a little kid's piano thing, and say, "Okay, guys, I've got 40 pieces of art. They are €100 each. That includes the shipping." And she'll go on live and say, the minute I blow my little horn or whatever, and you write $100 or whatever it is, then, once 40 of them are gone, they're gone. And she'll raise money within minutes. It's unreal. I mean, unreal. And it's very organic, and I like that, and it's fun. And although she's raising money for a very serious thing, she makes it so much fun. And I feel like that she really has got that down when it comes to getting a message out. So I agree with you on these rescues to start a blog. But you can present these stories in such an amazing way and get people involved if you do it.
Totally. I mean, I've told rescues, like, okay, they're adopting out dogs or they're adopting out cats, and they need. So how about writing a post about like how to teach kids to play nice with dogs or toys to entertain a shelter dog? What do I do in the first week that I adopt a dog? Now, people are sitting down at their computers and looking for that information.
Yes, they are.
That is a perfect type of topic for a pet rescue to write about. And I know they're spread thin. That's always the reason I get. We've got no one. Reach out to a blogger, then buddy up with a blogger online. That's what I do with Cocker Spaniel rescues. They come to me and they're like, "Hey, I know you have copious spare time. Can you please come and help us save 95 dogs today?"
Yeah, I mean, it is so worth the effort. And if it's not you that can do it yourself in your rescue, then, like you say, reach out to another blogger or say, "Hey, can we get someone to volunteer with us solely to do our blog? Nothing more."
Exactly.
That's what we want, because it does work. Exactly. I look at Tina's stuff; it works.
Yes,
and
there's so many ways, and you're the queen of that. You're the queen of creativity for how to raise money for rescues, and so it can be done.
It can. It really can. You talked a little bit earlier about SEO. Everybody hears this.
Yes.
SEO, what is it? Why is it important? Why is it important to keep up with the ongoing Google changes? And yeah, I think you explained it right there.
Yes. Google is just. I guess we have to say we love Google, huh?
Yeah.
Because we want our results to show up. SEO it's simply search engine optimization, and what those big things mean is that if somebody sits down at a computer and types in what cat litter is best, or I want to learn more about Cocker Spaniels, you want them coming to find you and your blog. So SEO is all about what words go in there, how do you form them, how do you have to say it so that, of course, it's a love. We all start with a love of animals, but it's a business, so you've got to learn SEO. And why Sam and I are semi-groaning is because just when you think you've got it going on, Google says, not today. Not today. And they change things up. And that's why you need to be flexible in blogging. And that's why you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's why people need to diversify and not only have one revenue stream. Because if Google comes along and says, we used to let people do it this way, but today, you're not sitting there going, oh my God, I'm broke now and I have to sell my home.
Yeah,
It and it's scary times right now, Sam.
well, it is because I think what's really happening right now is, of course, when people, particularly like medical terms, because everybody's all Dr. Google these
Yes.
days,
Yes.
is they don't want people landing on non-medical posts.
Yes.
And
That's so true.
yeah,
That's so true.
and so
That's
they
true.
they're going to discern whether you're the person they should be landing on, or should it be a doctor's blog post. But I think the combat is, and like you mentioned earlier, you yourself, you write about your own experiences, but you also pull in the experts.
And you have to, and it
Yeah.
can't be that you link to your buddy who
Right. Yeah.
is a goldfish blogger and they don't
Yeah.
ever update their site. You've got to be. I mean, now there's Google Books and there's Google Scholar and there's Google
Yeah.
News, and you've got. And I actually talked to. I just wrote a piece about a certain color of Cocker Spaniel. I talked to a geneticist.
Whoa.
I talked to a veterinarian. Yeah, because you know what? I want to be considered a digital journalist. I don't want people saying that's the girl who chews gum all day, and then sometimes she goes online and talks about her Cocker Spaniel and how cute he is.
Right.
No.
Well, it's the same with us on our podcast. I mean, we do so much research on every single topic, and we reach out to the professionals that we know, and we'd never put anything out there that is not correct, because I could never live with myself, And it's funny because Jim, there's always a joke with Jim, no matter what it is, outside of the show even. He might say, "Hey, did you know blah 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 blah?" I'm like, "How'd you know that's true?" You go, "Oh, you got to research it now." I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
See,
and
just because somebody said it, I found it on the internet. Like I always look what the source is when I find things. Like somebody recommends a dog treat or a dog food. Who's sponsoring that post?
Yes,
Yes.
I
don't know.
Did I ever tell you? This is a little bit off topic, but did I ever tell you about? I don't give my dogs milk bones or anything like that, but we went to some pet event and someone said, "Can I give your dog a bone?" I thought, and it was a milk bone, yeah. Well, I forgot about it. I stuck it in my pocket. I washed my clothes, and you wouldn't believe that milk bone was still intact.
See, ew.
I
hope you did a whole thing around that.
It had inflated. It had absorbed the water. It was completely intact. And then
that is frightening.
Then that got me thinking, what the heck does that do in your dog's stomach? It's that kind of stuff. But that could be a blog post, and it could be you reach out to a company and say, this really weird thing happened. Why is it not breaking down? I want to know about that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a prime example of something that in your own experience that you could write about. But I couldn't believe it. I have a photo of it somewhere.
And that's interesting you say that, because for close to 20 years I've been feeding my dogs a certain my cockers over my life, a certain brand of food. And from doing that so long, being this prolific blogger that I appoint myself, I thought, why aren't I working with that brand?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I reached out and I said, I'd love to be a brand ambassador for you. And by that, I mean, talk about it in a natural way, because I use it. Like my readers ask me all the time, what do you feed your dog? So I tell him, so now I'm a brand ambassador, but it's a natural progression, because if you want to write, you've got to gain the trust of your audience. And if you're putting out BS or lies or crummy content, the way the world is now, you're going to get called out on it, and you're just going to be like dead in the water.
Well, you've mentioned that it's about trust, and that in turn helps your engagement.
Yes.
And we keep hearing a lot. Well, what's the point of having 1 million followers when I don't see you engaging with anyone? But then you might see someone who's got 1,000 followers and there's tons of engagement. And I think
that's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah, and I think
back in the day, those numbers were so important, and it still looks good. But if you've got 1 million followers and 10 people talk to you,
something.
Size doesn't always matter.
It's so true. Now, I think we can expect anyone who's new into blog. Well, we can look back ourselves, can't we, into where we started, and you expect to make mistakes. But we also see seasoned bloggers making mistakes too, because they're stuck in old stuff. What are some of the pitfalls or the mistakes that you are seeing right now that you go, no, don't stop it, don't do that?
Yeah, that kind of thing. People think number one, they think they need to be on every single social media network to promote their stuff, which it can be a blessing and a curse. And I'll give you an example. I write, I'll use myself. I write a post about 10 gifts to get your Great Dane for the holiday. I don't know. And I go on Facebook and I see that, oh, okay, Carol promoted that post there. Then I'm over on Instagram, same thing. Oh, look, she's on Twitter, same thing. Oh, here she is on TikTok doing a video about it.
Right.
Or TikTok.
We'll start a
See
new
how
network.
OG I am? What the hell? TikTok. Oh, but you know what it is? It becomes boredom. And I'm like, stop it. But if you give me a different message everywhere else, so on Facebook, I'm telling my people, but then I go over on Twitter and I pull out a specific gift. And then I go over on Pinterest and I have this really great graphic that's talking about yet another gift. And then maybe on Instagram stories, I show bloopers. I think bloopers rock. I show my behind the scenes stuff. I think that's when the dog's not cooperating and he knocks all my crap over. That's I'm like, oh my God. And I get more engagement on that, Sam. People are like, ha ha ha, her dog's a goofball like mine.
People want realness. They do. I mean, I've been reading. There've been quite a few beauty influencers I follow on Instagram, and they've all been asking, what kind of content do you want to see? Do you like it when I don't have any makeup on and don't look perfect? Do you like it when I always look perfect? And you know what? Overwhelmingly, people said, we want you to look real. And so, because you don't look like that all the time, and it makes us feel better about ourselves, and it's easier to engage. And so I get the whole blooper thing. I mean, that's what I love. Another huge thing I see is people think because everybody else is doing it, and this is seasoned professionals too. I'm not going to call anybody out, but oh well, blah blah has a podcast. Me too. Why do you want a podcast? Well, because everybody has that. I know, but why do you want a podcast? Is it just for you're bored and you have not enough to do in your day? Or if that's if that's a serious part of your business model and you're planning to monetize it or help promote your post, then go for it. But the third big thing I got to get this in is people don't ask for money and then they wonder why they're broke. Yeah.
Example. They work with, I can't make money. I made $3.17 on my blog this month. Okay. Do you have a day job? Yes. When you went to your day job, did you ask your employer how much they would pay you? Of course you did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much did you set? How much of a salary did you set for yourself that month? I didn't. Well, why not? So basically, if you would walk into your day job and say, pay me whatever you want. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Why aren't more people giving themselves these online influencers, bloggers, even seasoned ones? You've got to respect yourself and stop working. People will say, I'll give you a bag of treats if you write about my amazing treats. And my now new response, I have a rote response. My dog works for treats. I do not.
Oh, my gosh. That's the best response ever, Carol.
They don't talk to me after that. I don't hear from them.
And you know what? It's like me with the show. I get lots of people, and I wouldn't even say their pictures because then they don't even pitch. I've literally had emails that literally said, I should be on your show. And that's it.
I know.
And I'm not,
oh, my God.
I'm not replying. I'm just not replying.
That?
Or I get a lot of pictures that are completely unrelated to the show, completely unrelated, which tells me they didn't do their homework either. And I love it when they say, oh, you'd be a perfect fit for us. And I'm like, no. You obviously don't know what we do because you're not.
And you know what? There are people accepting that bag of treats. And I will say sometimes for relationship building, that's okay. Like you think it might lead to something, or, hey, I do you a favor, you do me a favor, blah, blah, blah. But when you're taking that bag of treats, you're letting somebody know all of the money you put into your blog, your time, your talent, your hosting fees, your email server price, all of that. Like you're saying, I don't value myself at all. Of course I'll work for free. That's like going to a television station and saying, can I have a free commercial during the Super Bowl? Because you know what? You want to know what? I can get you so much. What's the word they use? There's a word that they use that if you do this for me,
payola. Payola?
It's like I will. It's going to give you so much exposure. That's the word. You'll get so much exposure that you're not going to be able to handle it. Shut the front door.
Oh, Carol, you can die from exposure.
You can.
And starve from it too.
I'm telling you.
Musicians get exposure.
Oh, and like, are you paying the bills with exposure? So you know
Yeah.
what I've said to someone? I said to a PRH, I couldn't take it. I was like, I am done. Anybody who comes at me today, I'm like, I would like a piece of your salary. Instead of telling me work for free, you give me $1,000 out of your salary and call me when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I flipped my nut. I think I like totally, I
Yeah.
snapped one day and I was done. And this is what frustrates me is you people are worth money. If you're sitting down on the internet, you're not doing it because you feel like promote. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
think I'll do today? I'm going to promote cat litter because it's good for my exposure.
Yeah,
What in the
exactly.
world?
I mean, Jim is the
Ugh.
biggest victim of it. All musicians that we
Is he?
know.
I can't imagine.
Oh, well, doesn't he just love playing? No, he's a professional musician.
My
But
God.
but you know the way I look at it as well, Carol. You know, a lot of people will say, and I see this question a lot. You know, if I've got X amount of followers, what should be telling them I'm going to charge them? You know, blah blah. I charge what I'm worth. I
Exactly.
do, honestly. I don't go, oh well, I
Yep.
have X amount of I just don't do that. I'm like, this is what I believe I am worth. And if you fall into that, great, we can work together. But I think that's such a good piece of advice, Carol. But let me,
Sam, and you know what? You know what else? How about the ones that say, I'll paint a picture of your dog if you'll just promote me? What in the world? If okay, stop it.
just stop
Just
right,
stop it.
just stop right now, because God forbid someone said to them, you know, I'll do this if you do that for me for free. I mean, they just wouldn't go for it. You know,
And so,
artists have
yeah,
that a lot too. So I find it interesting that they do it to other people as well. It's
yep,
very strange.
yep,
But like you say,
yep.
set your worth. Set your worth.
Exactly.
Y-
And we show you how to do that too. I mean, not to self boast or whatever, but we talk about that
And
in the book.
people
And
need that.
don't, you do.
They need that
You
hand
do.
holding, you know, to give them confidence. Now, a lot of people say, "Gosh, I look at these bloggers and they seem to be forever churning out content."
Hmm.
It seems like it's so much stuff. Do I have time for that? But what would you recommend if someone's just starting out and you say,
Hmm.
you know, how much content should I roll out and when should I roll it out? What would be good for a beginner?
I think once you have defined who your audience is, that's first. Like who, back in the day, they'd say who you're writing for, and I would say everyone, anyone who loves dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. Discover who your audience is. So maybe it's Cocker Spaniels. Okay, so I would say once to twice a week when you get started because you want to get your feet wet. You no longer have to blog 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's that's not the thing. But when you're starting out 2 to 3 times a week, I'd actually get some content out there because it takes Google and the search engines in general about 6 months
To find
to
you.
to discover that you're out there. And what I mean by that, it's Google's like for newbies. That's kind of like the radar. And if you're trying to rank for clothes for gerbils, I don't know why gerbils are on my mind. Clothes for gerbils,
These are
write
all
about
great
outfit.
ideas.
My next book is going to be epic because you're going to be in it and we're going to talk about wheels and dribbles and clothes but in all seriousness, 2 to 3 times a week, I would say to get started. But you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a master's thesis. Remember, what you put out on the internet is what you're going to be known for. And
Mm,
so whatever you start with, like really define who you are. That's what a niche or a niche, however you say it is. Who am I and who's my audience? Just like, whoever picks up Modern Mechanic probably isn't
mm.
thinking the same audience is reading Cosmopolitan.
That's
So,
right. It is a simple
or maybe they
question.
are. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's a simple question that most people don't ask themselves in all
Yep.
kinds of businesses. And I know now. I mean, it's kind of really expanded. I feel now, just blogging and social media in general. I remember when no one posted. Well, I remember when you couldn't post a picture on Facebook, and then all of a
Right.
sudden you could do a picture. Woohoo! And then there was all talk of, next year is going to be the year of the video. People are like, oh no, not
Yep.
video, and that now has become the norm. How important is video, audio, and imagery when it comes to your content creation?
Huge. That is your visual and audio thumbprint. And you don't have to necessarily have a podcast, but I go live. I might be out walking the dog and I'm like, oh, you know what would be a good one? How to get your dog to stop pulling on a leash. So
Yeah.
I'll just talk to my audience about that on Instagram stories. I'll go live on Facebook and I'll just freestyle. You do not have to have a big oration and a podium and do your hair. And people like real, or you can plan content once a week. I have a group and we have a different topic we talk about in the Cocker Spaniel world. Maggie, with her amazingly named Oh My Dog
The
blog.
best name blog ever.
Oh my
Seriously.
God. She's got her thing because she's all pet adoption and now she's into people
People
adoption.
adoption,
And,
yes, she is.
you
She's a
know,
real expert in all
she is a
areas.
pro. I mean, and that's her niche. And so um you've just got to know, pick your lane and stay in it. But with video, I think that's important. Definitely clear pictures.
Oh gosh,
I mean,
yeah.
most of my content is done with my new iPhone. I have this fancy camera, and I
It's
took classes, and I'm like, I'm Ansel Adams. Look at me. And everything's my iPhone, because with apps and really easy to use apps, you can make your pictures look fabulous
You
now.
honestly can, and I think that also leads into my next question. Was pretty much: do you need gobs of money? Do you need to be paying, out for all these apps and to maintain your blog when you're starting out? Do you really need to do that in the beginning?
No, minimalist, and most apps are free. I mean, just to clean up a photo, you take a picture, you can do there's so many different apps to clean up a picture, but just to get started on your blog, do me one favor, anyone listening, own your blog. There's a thing called self-hosting, and then you let
Oh,
and then, the opposite. So like, for example, WordPress is a platform, just like ABC or NBC or channels. WordPress is a platform. Own your niche, own your domain,
yep.
so that it's always yours, because I've heard horror stories, Sam, of people who didn't own their blogs. They just went with the
Oh,
free version, and the server was like, we're going to take you down today.
oh.
Um, and so own your own lane, but there are fees to begin with. You're going to pay a server fee. You're going to pay to own your domain, but no, you don't have to put a lot of money into it unless you want to. I hire somebody to do my tech stuff because I don't want to have to worry about that kind of thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Um,
and WordPress has those two different platforms, which a lot of people don't know about, do they, Carol? There's WordPress.com
yes,
and there's WordPress.org. You need to be on
yes.
.org where you are self-hosting with them, because otherwise, like you say, the freebie. And here's the thing, the freebie ones, they're easier to manage. They're not that flexible. They're not that, you can't be that creative on them. It's
And you know what, too, Sam? Someone could go on the WordPress.com if they're not sure and they want to get their feet wet and they want to think,
yes.
I really like this blogging thing. Start there. Start free. And then if you're thinking, I really do want, you can what's called migrate, move that content over to .org.
Mm-hmm. I helped my niece out.
Mm.
She got married a year ago today, actually. She got married a year ago today. And she ended up being made redundant from her job a couple of months before she got married. And her husband can work from a laptop anywhere in the world, pretty much. And it happened when you get made redundant, you do get a lump sum in England, which is nice, because it's not your fault that they've eliminated a position,
Right. Right.
So they're big travelers, huge travelers. And they started talking, and she kind of liked having the free time leading up to the wedding, which was great because she was planning everything herself. And then they got talking and said, you know what? We've always said we want to go traveling at least 6 months. If you was to work from your laptop, no matter where we are in the world, and I've just got this chunk of money, and we'll move we'll move the sister in to look after the house and the cat. Let's see if we can work this out. And they worked it out. Well, they're now celebrating not only their first anniversary, but also a year of traveling. A year. They've got another 6 months to go.
Wow.
But I said to her,
Wow.
you need to start a blog. You absolutely need to start a blog. She really enjoys writing. And of course, her content's great because they're traveling every single day. And so I worked with her and got her on WordPress.org. I mean, she had some teething problems, but she made it through. And
Isn't that awesome?
She started getting featured in big magazines. Big.
Nice.
So early on when she started blogging, and then, wanting to collaborate with them on products. And I mean, fantastic. So, I mean, apart from all the beautiful pictures, and then the stunning, the video is amazing. They're traveling in a very unusual way. It's a backpack situation. They do a lot of homestays. So they've done, I think how many countries have they done now? they've got to have done at least 8 countries, 9 countries, something like that.
Wow.
So they've done India.
Travel blog is huge too.
Oh
That's
my
a
gosh,
huge thing.
massive! And then I talked to her about affiliate marketing. I said, you need to be in that. You're already using products. Because what products? I said, oh my gosh, that rain mac that you two keep throwing on when you're on a moped, in torrential rain. I said that needs to be something you tell people about. You can pack it up really, really small, and it's in your bag, and away you go. And she's done advice and stuff on travel insurance and that kind of stuff. And it's been so nice to watch her do that from the beginning. And it's grown into something and so good. And all these experiences that she's getting, these collaborations and features. It's just a prime example of what's your passion? What are you doing? This is how you're going to get started, and just, put that content out. She just kept putting it out regularly every single week. It came out. You knew what day it was coming out, and she's made it work, I feel in a very, very short period of time. And it's been amazing for her. And I think that's the same experience for anyone starting with something new. Just have a plan, and you'll be amazed at the things that'll come from having that blog.
Just don't
as your
quit.
hub.
Just don't quit. I always say don't quit. Don't quit. Like, just pivot. Like, don't. And oh my God, imposter syndrome or comparing yourself to. I love this quote. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. It's like, if you're new, you've got to just stay in your lane, learn from people, but don't get depressed because she's got 8 million views and I've got like 3.
Right. But you may end up having, you may end up having better engagement than that person.
Exactly. And it's just, you've just got to stay confident, be in your lane, but not quit. Oh my God, I sound like a motivational speaker, but you know what I mean.
But you are, though. That's what I love about it. You're like, come on, you can do it, people. And that's why I wrote this book. Like, we're going to show you how you can do it and be successful. Now, I've got a 2-part question for you. Looking into the future, well, not that far, but in 2020, for pet bloggers, what do you think is going to be the next big thing in the pet space? What do you think is going to happen in 2020?
Number one, I believe that what's going to keep soaring is podcasting, video, and written. I think people who say the written word is dead don't know how to read, because the written word, there are people who love to read, there are people who love to listen, and there are people who love to look. And so I think each of those platforms, you have to decide, like, who is your audience? Try different things out. Maybe you podcast once a month and test that water. So I think that's just going to continue to grow. Close to 70% of Americans own a pet right now. I think more and more and more people are just going to want to put their pets online. I think that pets finally are coming into their own as a niche. I feel like we stood second fiddle to lifestyle and what was used to be called mommy bloggers long. We were like, oh yeah, and them. We were like, oh,
it's true.
Now people know that if my dog likes it, or I've had brands approach me and say, would your dog wear my leash to an event? Oh my God. It's stuff like that. So I think that's where it's going. The pet influencer is going to escalate. And I honestly believe podcasts and video complementing the written word are just going to soar even more. Google's playing tricks on people right now, so you're going to see a lot of diversification.
Yeah.
I think other search engines are going to come along and give Google a run for their money. I can name them.
Good.
But for people who don't know, like I know Bing is out there and DuckDuckGo, which I used to think was a ride at a carnival. For the longest time, I'm like, what's this carnival ride sending me traffic?
It's funny you said that because, and right now they're saying can't even say it. Millennials are choosing to not have children, but are really bringing pets into their lives, and they're wanting to spend more money on them, more time with them, quality products. So I feel like that will also help drive, like you say, like pet blogs are a big thing. They're a really big thing. And like you said this, some people like to listen, some people like to read. And that's why I'm so glad that you did your book both in a digital form and also in a physical form, because there are people that love a book. And we
didn't want to do audio. I thought we might put folks to sleep if we did an audio.
No way.
Can you imagine pet blogging chapter 1?
But you know,
Okay.
like you say, you're providing something for people that one love a physical book. And here's the thing: the book is it's not some little book either. I mean, there's a
You
lot.
could hurt someone with it.
You
could probably
could
give someone,
with it.
you probably could give someone a clunk to the head
quite easily. I mean,
with the book.
it's a legitimate book, my friend, legitimate. But it's true. You've got to give people what they want as well. Right now, I say we talked a little bit about I design notebooks all animal themed. The people are going back to writing as well. They want
Yes,
to
thank
pick up a
God.
pen. They want to write. I think it's brilliant. I've always been someone that loves to write. I love paper, pens, stationery. I love all of that. I always have done.
Oh, I'm an addict. I'm an
Oh,
addict.
Carol, when I lived in Japan, I can't even tell you how amazing the
Oh, no.
stationery stores were. I go into Chinatown here, and it's ridiculous. I mean, you can't get out. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. So when I started designing these notebooks, it fed into my whole thing as well.
That's your jam.
But I
Yep.
married that with my love of all kinds of animals. And so I'm just so glad he actually brought a physical book out there. And I've seen lots of people online have been tagging you. I've got the book. And a lot of these people are seasoned bloggers too. So I know for a fact
That's
they're going
what
to...
I'm thrilled.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled about that.
They're going to crack open that book and go, I need to change some things, about what I've been doing.
When Maggie and I sat down and talked about this 18 months ago, we said, like, what do we wish was out there when we started? So that's what we
Yeah.
wrote. I hate when you buy a book and they're like, talk to people, post on Facebook, and be nice. Okay.
Oh my gosh, engage, but they don't
right.
tell you what what engagement
Engage.
means or what it looks like or what forms it takes.
Yes.
You know what? I'm right with you, Carol. I am so sick and tired of these, these secrets to blah, blah, blah. And they don't give you the secrets.
Or it's all about them. It's all
Yeah.
about their life.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I just tell me what to do and tell me the stuff. And that's what we thought. We're like, we're just going to put some secrets in there. Like, oh my God, could I have written a tell all? But that's probably for another day.
Oh, yeah, you could. You could.
Oh my God, that might be, I'd probably be banned from everything forever.
You're going to have to do it under a fake name.
I'll be called G-Pig. Guinea pig. G-pig.
OG pig.
OG pig.
The original guinea pig.
Oh my God, Sam, I have my new name. That's my book number 2.
I'm telling you. Oh, couldn't we just?
OG Pig, Secrets of the Pet Industry.
Oh,
Exposed.
Carol, it would be so good. I'd read it. I'd probably be in it.
Oh my, no, Sam, can you imagine if we had a book like that? That'd be sick.
See, I bet people listening now are going, oh, she needs to write that book. I need to find out what that's all about.
I know.
It's an
It would be,
interesting industry, isn't it, Carol, to say the
it's
least?
very, you know what I've learned? There are a lot of folks in this industry who just don't even care about pets. And that breaks my heart.
It's true. It's true.
I'm just going to put that out there. Not you
Yeah.
or I, not the people who would buy this book, of course, but there are you go to some of these shows and expos and events and industry things, and you're like,
I can't even.
they're like, you suck. Why do you, like, you
Yeah.
have a dog and you suck. What is the story with you? But
Yeah, Super Zoo, as you know, we have Super Zoo every single year. And
Yeah.
I honestly, gosh, clearly they don't really care about animal welfare because
I know.
I see people peddling out those pets on those booths all day, being manhandled by people all day. And I go, it's not necessary.
know.
And if you can't sell your product without luring people in with your pet. Now we have other friends, like our friend Laura Nativo. She's coming out with her big treat line and stuff.
Yes,
She is
yes.
so respectful of her dogs. I mean, her dogs, it was
Exactly.
her day was structured. It was, they'll be at the booth at this time, then they're off to
Yes.
naps, then they're up in the hotel room, and now they're going out for a walk, now they're going for their dinner. There was none of this, they're sticking on the booth all day, and I'll feed them some treats while it was not like that. And I think there's a big difference, isn't there? And you can tell, because you get this gut feeling where you go, I don't like that.
And you know
not
what?
right.
Like, you and I wear our hearts on our sleeves. So I think that's where pet bloggers have an advantage also, is that we genuinely care. And you're not going to sell us a candy cane rawhide that's covered in red dye and try to pass it off as healthy.
Not happening. Not happening.
We're going
at
to
all.
out you like, we're going to out you like the plague. But
Well, a friend of mine had to save some baby bunnies from the conference because they were going to feed him to the snake people.
Oh my God, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, I think it needs to be addressed. I really think it needs to be addressed. Or,
Well, OG Pig, yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
because I think if you're gonna have your pets there, they should have some structure and they say, you know what, your pet cannot be at the booth longer than 20 minutes at a time or whatever. Do not allow people to handle your pets. I mean, welfare's a big thing for me and you, Carol. But like you say, the industry, it's not always like that throughout the industry. Don't assume that pet food companies love animals, they'll put the best ingredients in them, or like you say, the Candy Cane awful rawhide thing. Don't believe, and I think that's the biggest thing I hear all the time is, yeah, but don't they love animals?
And you know what, Sam? The bloggers like you and me and anybody thinking of starting one, you can actually kind of be online police because this time of year, these goofballs who sell puppies online,
I can't take
and
it.
that kind of thing. Oh, right. We could actually, I out these people. It's like we can out these people. And when you have engagement and people who trust you, so like that's another really good advantage to being a pet influencer or blogger or whatever you want to call yourself is you're kind of like your own police and you could stop stuff in action. You
Yeah,
could shut that stuff down.
you
Bloggers
can.
have exposed companies and you can't oh my God. So my spouse is yelling.
Is that
My spouse
Darlene?
wants to be Yes, that's Darlene. She just yelled to you. I'm not sure what that's about. Oh my God.
Hey, we're
It's
being
anarchy in my life.
We're being real. We're being real. That's what people like.
I know,
Real
but
life.
Jim spoke politely and stuff. She's dancing on the desk.
But he's now napping, so that's the problem. You see, he's just quiet because he's having a nap. He went for a big bike ride this morning, so he's just tired.
All right.
But
now I know.
Can you share one tip
Yes.
that people can do to find new readers of their blogs? How can they find these people and attract them in?
So I know I hear that all the time. I have really good content. It's so well done. You need to put 20% of your time into writing it and 80% marketing it. Honestly, when even me myself, like I spend an enormous amount of time writing a post, but I spend so much time marketing it. Go on Instagram. Engage with people. Just don't put a picture up and then say, I put this great picture up of my dog. It supports the post. It's all about, why you should read my post. And 4 people came over. Did you talk to anyone? Did you go somewhere else? Or do you like to go to a cocktail party? You know that guy who stands in the center and he wants everyone to listen to him and then he doesn't give a crap what you talk about, right?
Oh, gosh,
yeah. Don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Talk to people, engage with people. I've heard you want to grow your Instagram, spend an hour a day engaging with others on Instagram. So that's one way to pull them in. Try video. I support my content with video in other places. So I'll put it on my blog and then I'll talk about it on Facebook. Once you hit 10,000 followers as of this moment, you have that swipe up feature.
Oh,
I worked so hard to get that swipe up feature.
I bet you did. I'm nowhere near there. Oh, it's you know what's weird,
That's
Carol?
the big thing.
I was away. This is the strangest thing. And I don't normally do this. When we were away in England for 2 weeks, I didn't post. I think I posted one thing in 2 weeks on Instagram. And my followers increased quite a lot.
That's what I mean. There you go. It doesn't. I know. I went looking, and I'm like, oh, damn it, she's on vacation.
She's not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. You need to. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a constant flow of content. Put your stuff out there, and remember, like some people are reading late at night, some people are scrolling at work. So my big thing, you said, like how to get more readers is. Put your time into the marketing that we talk about in the book. We tell you how to do it and, write it, put it out there. And it's not true. If you build it, they will come. If you build it and you market your face off, they will come.
They will come.
It's all about marketing. And I know writers hate that. I hate that. I do. I don't even like marketing, but I'm a writer. I just want to write and then have everybody be happy and adopt puppies and life is good. But the bottom line is that's not the world we live in. Oh my God, Facebook moves in a Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. It moves so fast.
It does. It does move fast. You know what I found has been working for me? Not because I set out to do it. I was just doing it naturally. And then I started realizing, oh, this is interesting. I'm getting on people's radar or we're opening conversations is in stories. Not a ton of people do the reactions to the stories.
No, they just like to read it. And I don't even have a big conversion on my stories. People will read it and I'm like, and go buy my book. No, we're so entertained by what you just did. We're just going to stay here. They don't want to leave that platform. They
Yeah.
don't, it's going to take a lot to, so I get really good engagement, but not a lot of conversion. But it's important because then when they're on Amazon later or they're shopping or whatever, then they're like, oh yeah, I saw that story. Maybe they're not doing it then, but you've already
Yes.
planted a seed.
That's
You've planted
right.
the seed.
That's right. I mean, I would just react to certain things on stories, and the next thing you know, people would message me and say, "Oh
I
my, yeah, it
know.
was funny that, wasn't it? It was hilarious." And now I've got a conversation going with people, and
I know.
it really is about. You can't put. I mean, here's what I don't like. Right, and I know with celebrities they can't answer everybody. They just can't do that. But I
Right.
always find that they post something and they never come back to it. You know,
Because they're like
not
some of these people who are celebrities, they are celebrities for being celebrities. They didn't
yeah.
even, that blows me away. I'm not going to mention names, but it rhymes with Marmashian.
Oh,
That's
oh
all I
yeah.
will say.
There's
Right? Like
no,
what in the world? Like you're famous for being famous and then you don't talk to anybody. Maybe that's
yeah.
their shtick and it works. But you know what? Engagement, when people trust you or they engage with you, I always talk to people. You and I are like,
Oh, we love a
we
good old
always talk.
chit chat, don't we, Carol?
We don't stop. We could have our own like mini series here, Sam.
We
We could have a
totally
mini
could.
series.
You know who I like, and he's not a pet blogger, but he's a pet lover. Is
Hmm.
Jeffree Star Cosmetics? Jeffree Star. Every day he gets on and he does his stories, talking directly
Ah,
to his people. He loves his animals. He rescued his first dog from a puppy mill and
ah.
ended up with 5 of them. He loves the Pomeranian and stuff. And he goes on every day and talks to people. And he's so transparent about everything. And I love that because we're also not to be out there saying, "Oh, we're perfect" either. I think that's an important thing. Is we're
Exactly.
not like the be all and end all. We could look back 5 years on what we knew about being pet parents and go, "Oh gosh, I feel like we hardly knew anything," and how much we've learned since then. But Jeffree Star, what I love about him. They put out a new makeup palette that they produced 1.5 million of them, and out of the
Oh,
1.5 million, there were 35 complaints of
wow.
when they press the actual eyeshadows, a fabric goes over the top of the eyeshadows in the machine. And if it's not replaced regularly enough, it can sometimes leave a little bit of that fabric in the actual eyeshadow on the top. So
Gotcha.
he went straight on there and he said, "Hey guys, I'm always transparent. I've got to find out what's going on, where we make all our makeup and stuff. But let me show you a quick video of how we make them." Now,
See, that's
granted,
real. I love that.
I just loved it. And he just said, if not placed often enough, then we'll get that. Now, is it an excuse? No, I saw it and I was like, ew. This was about his own palette. You know what I mean? No, you don't need that. That's not right. And we're going to fix that. And I just loved that transparency. And every single day he does that. And even what was really difficult, I think, was, when they lost 2 of their dogs very close together. And he came on and he was just being very real about it. And that's, I think, the connection is you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be putting out, always educational stuff. It can be fun stuff. It can be the sad stuff, and I think that's the big lesson to be learned. I love watching his stories. He's fabulous.
I have to look him up.
Oh,
I
I'll
totally
tag
have to
you.
look
Oh my
him up.
gosh, he's so fantastic.
And see, that's all psychology. I think all of blogging, I think marketing, I think social media, it's all psychology. And if you understand your audience and how people think, people want to be heard and respected and
Yeah,
feel important.
they
If you
do.
take nothing away from this, like that what makes me feel when someone shouts me out or they're like, "Hi Carol, we love your stuff," or "Hey, how's Dexter?" Like I'm like, "Oh my God, you're my new best friend. You asked about my dog." Like
Yes,
I love that. I love that. And we all remember each other's pets.
we
I don't
do.
even know half the people on my street. And
I
I'm like,
I know.
how's Mitzi? Where's Reggie? And I'm like, who are you again?
That's
Who are you
right.
again?
That's
I'm
right.
like, yeah, yeah.
Now, what would you say are some of the most important skills that every pet blogger should have?
Oh
What
my
mad
goodness.
skills should they be rocking, even from the very
Definitely,
beginning?
yeah, writing. Just I mean, you don't have to be a Shakespeare, but you should know how to craft a quality paragraph, understand, um, just basic spelling and tense and that kind of thing. Seriously, I think knowing how to write, you don't have to be the best writer in the world, but just how to craft a sentence. Number one,
Hmm.
be organized. There needs to be a level of organization. I don't care if you put that in a paper planner or you go online and use one of these things like Trello or
Oh
something
yeah.
to organize yourself, but be organized and track your expenses. I know
Oh
people that are like,
gosh.
it's the end of the year and I don't even know what happened. I spent $8 million this year.
Right.
Track your expenses
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to reach out for help. Like even now, oh my God, if I could, I really need a VA. Like, don't be afraid to ask people for help or put a little bit of money out. Sometimes you do have to put money out to make money.
Yeah.
So I definitely think being organized, knowing how to write, knowing how to at least take a good picture or how to clean it up, and knowing where to go for good help. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Best advice. Best
Don't.
advice ever. I have to tell you that.
I mean,
Um,
and I don't mean that in a common sense. That's kind of common sense, but look at reviews of things just the same way you
oh
would at,
gosh. Yes.
look at a review. You're going to a restaurant, you look at reviews.
Yeah.
Look at a course review and not from their friends before you take it.
You know
Because,
what? Reviews are so valuable.
yes.
They are so valuable. I've just purchased a Christmas tree for my niece in England. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I started going through the reviews, and I managed to, take some off my list straight away. I thought, whoop, nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So reviews are
Yep.
really good when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Exactly.
I think they're really great skills that, like you say, people can hone in on. But right now, like you're saying with the phones, oh my gosh, the portrait mode on the iPhone is unreal. It's
I know. I love that.
it's so good.
Oh my God, you look like a professional photographer.
Yes,
And
you
then
do.
then what's it? They come along with the next version where it's got the 3 cameras. I quit. I quit now because I want that and I'm not shelling the money out for it.
You know what?
It's just not happening.
I bought what was the newest phone, and then a week later, that 3-camera phone came out, and I was not happy about
I
that.
know.
It was too.
I
It's
know.
like I missed that by
And you
a
know what
week.
else, Sam? If you've seen, you're talking about what people should know. I saw a commercial last week for Facebook groups on television. It was like
Whoa.
Facebook groups, and they're all the rage and that
Ah.
kind of thing.
So what else
You
is that?
know, and
Well, what else would you say is on fire right now as far as platforms go? So no, obviously Google Groups now because you've seen that on TV.
Go-
Wow.
Facebook
Facebook
groups
groups.
are big. Facebook groups because Google Plus is gone now. I mean, look at
Yeah.
that. There's another thing. I don't think that was dead in the water
Yeah.
for me. But so yeah, Facebook groups are hot. Instagram stories are. I swear, I think Instagram. You see it in pop culture. I was watching This Is Us on NBC, and they were Instagramming each other
I
and blah 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 in the series. And
for,
I think
for the gram.
Instagram is where it's. Yeah, and I also think video, like to
Yeah.
complement your blog video, and you don't need more than like your phone or a tripod or just test it first. Have good audio. Please have good audio. And like
Yeah.
you said, I know we started with this conversation, but that's on fire. Podcasts are on fire. Instagram
Mm-hmm.
stories is on fire. This TikTok, I can't get into it. Maybe it's because I'm OG, but TikTok's on fire.
Maybe we should challenge ourselves. I do have a TikTok account, but I haven't done anything on there.
I have one, and I only use Snapchat for the filters. I like Snapchat to do filters.
They do have the best filters. They totally have the best filters. I think they're amazing. I'm constantly sending stupid stuff to my family from Snapchat.
I swear, but I do believe people are looking for, as far as our technology goes in this world, every year people look towards old school. I do. And I think, like you said, writing is making a huge comeback. Reading, oh my God, reading is making a huge comeback.
And reading is such it's a relaxing thing. It is, you really only can read and only do that and not be distracted. So I think that's also a really good kind of self-care thing. It's time for yourself. You can go into a coffee shop, take a book with you. You don't have to be distracted by anything. And I think it's going to make, I think books are going to make a really, really big comeback. But there's something about having something physical in your hand, isn't there, Carol? When it comes to learning.
Love to touch it and feel it and smell it and throw it and all of that good stuff.
Well, some of the topic. Well, actually, I'm going to run through some of the chapters in your book. For everyone that's listening, it starts with pet blog basics, find your voice, creating content, blog design, SEO, measuring traffic and understanding analytics, the social animal, content marketing. Join or create a blogging community. Show me the money. That's always a good one. The blog media kit. That's an important thing. Blog / life balance. So important. I see so many people just give up on their blogs because they're burnt out. The pet professional and blogging. The role of blogging for pet rescues and animal shelters. And then there are some additional resources. So recommended reading for writing and grammar. 100 social media content ideas. Love that. Hashtag helpers for Instagram. Wonderful. What to include in a social media plan. Facebook group rules and community guidelines chapter, how to write and promote an ebook, and sample emails from pitch to partnership. I mean, it's all there. It really is all there. And I think whether you're starting out as a seasoned creator, pet blogging and for love and money is the ultimate guide, really, to grow your pet blog and social media channels like an absolute champ. It's comprehensive. There are your trade secrets in there. She doesn't hold, Maggie don't hold back. And each of those chapters is just like chock-a-block full of practical tips and actionable stuff that you can do right away. Instead of someone just saying, oh, engage with your people, how do we engage? You'll be told how to do that. I think it's brilliant. I think you'll get a lot of inspiration and from Carol and Maggie, because they are so successful and continuing to grow and be more successful every single year. They really are superstars, really, when I think about it. But very principled, and I love that too. I think very, very principled. You really care about what you do. You really want to help other people, and this book is perfect for everyone trying to get into the space and also who are currently in it and need to like revamp everything. But what I want to know, Carol, what I want to know right now is, when will I be able to attend the Pet Blogging for Love and Money conference?
Oh, wouldn't that be? Oh my God! Now you made a girl speechless. I think there's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely an opportunity for something like that.
Yeah.
The model has changed from where pet blogging conferences were to what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely feel there's a huge hole that someone needs to fill.
I think the people that are going to fill it are Carol and Maggie.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I feel like it's time. The book's out now. You've got a bit more time.
Yes, and we have something to complement the book coming out in first quarter 2022. Yeah, and so you never know in life. I think that what I've had to do many times in my life, and this book was a good experience, was you've got to remember how to reinvent yourself. That doesn't mean become something else every 10 days, but just rolling with the changes.
Yeah.
Because when I had a full-time job and I felt on top of the world, honestly, that got taken away because corporate buyouts and things happen.
Yeah.
And so having my base in place, though, saved me. Like, I had my audience. I still had something going on the side. I hate this whole thing of side hustle. I hate side hustle.
No.
Everybody talks about it. I'm sorry. It's like, hey, how much can you do in your day to give yourself a nervous breakdown? Not me. I'm all no, I don't want to hustle anything.
That's a perfect way to describe it. It just sounds so frantic for me. It's like, no.
Oh my God, it's like putting on Mannheim Steamroller and that's your life. I get so nervous. I get so nervous. I love them, but they make me nervous. I feel like I didn't get anything done when I'm listening to Mannheim Steamroller.
Right.
And that's how I feel. Right? It's like, hurry up, do the stockings. Hurry up, cook the turkey.
We're on the tracks. We're on the tracks.
I get nervous.
It's the perfect example, Carol, of that. Oh, but yeah, there are a lot of these buzzwords. I don't like them at all. I don't like boss bitch. Don't like that at all. Boss babe. Boss
hustle.
Don't like any of that. Don't like the hustle thing.
Hustle girl who hustles. Like, I'm sorry, that's girl who is I'm sleeping 1 hour and I'm on caffeine. No. No, you do not have to. And that's the thing. That's a really important part of this. It's like, you do not have to work 20 hours a day to be successful. Work smarter.
Work smarter.
Don't do it all.
Have a plan.
Yes, don't do it all. Say no. Say no to people.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm very good at that. But
I've learned.
A lot of people are not, and you can.
I learned.
Oh, sometimes you would land in a position where you go, oh, "Why did I say yes to that?"
I know.
Go with your
I know. And you know what? You've got to say no. No is respect. Sometimes no is big time respect for you.
It is.
Don't try to do it all. That's why I say pick a lane, stay in it, pick a platform and excel at it. And don't try to be a podcaster and a videocaster and a blogger and an influencer and work a day job and curl your hair and go out at night and be what in the world?
Do you know, this is a funny story. A friend of mine, her name's Sam. This is the funniest story. We talk a lot about, why didn't you say no? You didn't want to do it in the first place. Now look, you're trapped, yeah? So This friend of ours, she
See?
says, I can't believe I've just said yes to someone that asked me if I would help with
Yes.
this event again this year. And I said, what? You said you were going to say no. She goes, oh no, I rehearsed how I was going to say no. And I said, well, how the heck did that happen? She goes, I don't know. I just like caved and said yes. She goes, here's the kicker. I actually said yes over text.
Isn't that funny? Oh
How
my
easy would
God.
have that been to just say no over text?
Oh my God. That's what happened to me with dog writers. The previous president approached me, Jen Reeder, and said, you'd be perfect for this. It's a volunteer opportunity, but blah blah blah. And would you do it? And no,
No.
I said no.
No,
Nope.
no, can do.
That girl stayed on me like white on rice.
Did she really?
And here I am. And you know what, though? It worked out. It's for the best. I'm loving it. And that's again, like anybody listening, like decide if you can volunteer or you're offering your services out. Do you have time
Do you have
for
time?
that? And will it in the long run be good for you? Is it part of your mission? If you don't know what your mission or your goal is, if you don't define it, I always look at my mission and say, if somebody asks me a question, is this a part of my mission? If not, no, I'm not selling your nasty cat treats for free.
Exactly.
You know?
Maybe that's another good response is, oh, I'm sorry, it just doesn't fall in line with my mission.
It's not in my wheelhouse. I don't have time for a deep dive. What in the world?
Into cat treats. Now, you do have a group. You have a Facebook
Yep.
group that I think tons of people will love to join. Tell everybody the name of the Facebook group.
Same name as the group. It's Pet Blogging for Love and Money. We're small, but we help each other. And if you have questions that are in the book or otherwise, like the nice part about it is I answer everybody. Maggie
do.
comes in when she can. I answer. I genuinely like helping people.
I know
I do. Unless you're a jerk, like I'll help.
I know you do.
I will help you. Unless you're a jerk,
And
I'll kick you out then.
And your person.
Then I'll just ban you.
Right. I'll just ghost you.
Oh, is that what they? Oh yeah, the
yeah.
millennials
You
say
get
ghost.
Don't be getting ghosted.
Yes.
Now, your blog, everybody needs to know your blog is fidoseofreality.com and Maggie's
Yes.
blog is ohmydogblog.com, which is such a great name.
I know. I love that.
It's such a great name. Do you know, Carol, it's been absolutely brilliant hanging out with you. We don't normally do interviews
you.
over an hour, but we could go on. But I feel like we've packed everything in. People are going to be able to
We
pull
did.
a lot out of this. And I think it
Yes.
will also energize and excite people into trying to get into the pet space in this way. I'm going to link out how they can get to your blogs, of course, you and Maggie, your how to purchase the book, and your Facebook group as well. So I know people are going to ask about that, and it's really important. They'll be in the show notes, by the way, everyone. So don't worry if you didn't find it. And if you actually go to my Facebook page, I actually linked out on there as well yesterday and today. So you'll definitely be able to pick up the book, join the group, and you're in the right place. That's what I'm going to say. You would be in the right place. Carol, it's been brilliant today, honestly.
It's so awesome. This was the highlight of my month, I think.
Oh,
I love you guys. And I adore what
know.
you do. And just as a person, you're the real deal, as us OG say.
The OG guinea pig. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the next book. But I can't wait till your conference comes out.
Oh my God. You know what? It'll be everything. This one's for Jim. It'll be everything from soup to nuts.
It's from soup to nuts. I think that's a perfect note to end this show on. It's been brilliant, Carol. You and Darlene and Dexter have a fantastic weekend. I know you're already in Christmas mode. So are we, because you're a Christmas baby.
Yay!
I know that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's such an exciting time. And I always tell people, if you love Christmas, get that tree up. If it makes you happy,
I
put the tree
know.
up.
What the heck? It's not about. It's all about the retail. Just put the damn tree up and be happy.
Put the tree up and enjoy this festive time. So, but thank you, Carol.
Absolutely.
It's been brilliant as always, and
Thanks,
we will
Sam.
most definitely be linking out everything in regards to the book and the group itself. So, have a fab weekend.
Thank you.
Bye. Mwah. We love
Bye.
you.
Love you back.
I said it would be a great show, everyone. I mean, as I say, we don't normally go this long, but it is so worth it. Such an authority, both Maggie and Carol, in this pet space. This is where you need to start. I've learned so much from Carol over the years. we became friends on Twitter. That's how it started, and then we actually finally met, and then just became even better friends from there on out, and that's how I really got into this whole world of pet blogging. So thrilled to have had Carol on the show today. Obviously going to link out to the book. Definitely purchase it. The price is ridiculous for everything you get in that book. Come on, it is so ridiculously cheap, I think. Well, that's it for today's show. And if you've liked the show, of course, share it with your friends and your family. So easy to do, especially if you're listening on your smartphone. And remember this, you can help animals in need, either a rescuer, I'm making words up, rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, share their information, or start a blog. Rescue your next family member and replace the word shop with adopt, and be kind to all animals. Big thank you again to Carol. A big hello to Maggie if she's listening in with a brand new baby. And thank you, Jim, for doing all the technical stuff in the studio. Please take a moment to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and don't forget to post pics of your pets, because we do love to see your pets' furry faces. And that's it. Today you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our host as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.